Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtrapureshu Abhareshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nasteki. Today we are reading from Canto 8, Chapter 13, Description of Future Manus, Text 25 to 36. Text 25. The Vihangamas, Kamagamas, Nirvana, Rusis, and others will be the demigods. The king of the demigods, Indra, will be Vaidrita, and the 7 sages will be headed by Aruna. Text 26. The son of Aryaka, known as Dharma Setu, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will appear from the womb of Vaidrita, the wife of Aryaka, and will rule the 3 worlds. Text 27. O king, the 12th Manu will be named Rudra Sarvani, Devavan, Upadeva, Devasrita, and will be among his sons. Text 28. In this Manvantara, the name of Indra will be Ritadama, and the demigods will be headed by the Haritas. Among the sages will be Tapomurti, Tapasvi, and Agni Dreka. Text 29. From the mother named Sunrita and the father named Satya Saha will come Swadama, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will rule that Manvantara. Text 30. The 13th Manu will be named Deva Sarvani, and he will be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. Among his sons will be Citrasena and Visitra. Text 31. In the 13th Manvantara, the Sukha Karmas and Sutramas will be among the demigods. Devaspati will be the king of the heaven. Nirmoka and Tattva Darsa will be among the 7 sages. Text 32. The son of Devaputra, known as Yogeshvara, will appear as a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His mother's name will be Brahati, and he will perform activities for the welfare of the Devaspati. Text 33. The name of the 14th Manu will be Indra Sarvani, and he will have sons like Uru, Gambira, and Buddha. Text 34. The Pavitras and Chaksusas will be among the demigods, and Suchi will be Indra, the king of heaven. Agni, Bahu, Suchi, Sudha, Magadha, and others of great authority will be the 7 sages. Text 35. O King Parikshit, in the 14th Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear from the womb of Vitana, and his father's name will be Satrayana. This incarnation will be celebrated as Brihad Banu, and he will administer spiritual activities. Text 36. O King, I have now described to you the 14 Manus appearing in the past, present, and future. The total duration of time ruled by these Manus is 1,000 Yuga cycles. This is called a Kalpa, or 1 day of Lord Brahma. Thus ends the Vedanta of Canto 8, Chapter 13, description of future Manus. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Vidya Mataji. Hare Krishna Sundaracala Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Vidya Mataji. Thank you so much for taking today's translations. So today we will try to go over the overview of 13th chapter from verse number 25 to verse number 36. The title of the chapter is this description of future Manus. Start with the phrase. Om Adhyana Piyam Vasya Adhyana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मीलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते वेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे. So today's translations are quite simple in terms of descriptions of the Manvantras and the Manus, Devas, Upadevas, and the sons of the Manu during that period, and the rishis who have taken the positions during the Manvantara, and the Amshavatara. These are the details that we will come to know until 14th Manu, starting with 11th Manu today. And I would like to start with this how the journey of 8th Canto has begun, how Prabhupada has started translations of 8th Canto. So Prabhupada is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Sometime in the year of 1935, he mentions in the description of the first chapter of 8th Canto that he met in 1935 His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur at Radha Kundan. So he went to see him from Bombay, and at that time, very important instructions were given to him on constructing temples and publishing the books. And he personally told him, Srila Prabhupada, that publishing books is more important than construction of temples. And of course, the same instructions he carried in his heart for many years. So in 1944, he started publishing. He started publishing Back to Godhead magazines. And then he retired later down the road. In 1958, he began publishing Srimad Bhagavatam, first volumes in Delhi. So it used to be printed in 3 parts. So you can still find Bengali version of the first canto of Bhagavatam printed in the 3 volumes. They're still available. When these parts of Srimad Bhagavatam have been published in India, that's when Srila Prabhupada started to United States in 1965. So he continued to publish the books like Srimad Bhagavatam by the instruction of his spiritual master. So in 1976, he completed the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada already translated Krishna book by that time, the 10th canto summary. But still at that time, 8th canto, 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th were still remaining. So on that occasion, he actually, while writing the 8th canto, translating 8th canto, he ardently offered prayers to his spiritual master to give him strength to finish his work. And he expresses that I am neither a great scholar. So the person who has taken this voluminous task, they get such a impossible task of translation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even after translating 7 cantos, he's saying that he's incapable of translating Srimad Bhagavatam. And he begs for the ability to translate further cantos. So we can understand the mood, even if we learn the Srimad Bhagavatam, even if we get scholarly in the course of journey of Srimad Bhagavatam study, that is the mood that Srila Prabhupada teaches us, that we need to continue to carry in our heart. So in the first chapter of 8th Canto, we heard about summarization of the Manus. Four Manus. Swayambhu Manu, who is the original Manu, and then Swarochisha, and then the third Manu was Uttama and Tamasa. And as you can see from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanamutaya Manvantarishanukatha Virodho Muktirashrama. So the Srimad Bhagavatam actually details about these subject matters, 10 subject matters. And these 10 subject matters beginning with primary creation, Sarga, and Visarga, secondary creation done by Brahma and the progenitors, who are all carriers, who are in the line of Brahma. And then after that, we Sthanam, he creates an abode so that all the living entities can live in this universe, the Brahmanda. So how the universal creation has been explained in Fifth Canto, how the structure of the universe is being designed by Krishna, that is explained in Fifth Canto very nicely. There are so many rivers, so many oceans. So Lord has made granular arrangements, so many arrangements for conditional souls to actually exercise the mentality of independently enjoying from Krishna. So as you can see, Krishna being the father, he takes such a great, immense task of creating this universe. And now he creates Manus. He sends he himself comes as Manus. He also takes up Manvantra Avatara, Hari Amsha. He comes as an Amsha. And also he protects the Manus, the leadership, and even the Indra, the position of an Indra, so that the universal administration can properly be executed. So Krishna's role is there at every moment, right? And he also sends his pure devotees, throughout the Manvantaras, throughout the kalpa, the duration of the kalpa. So as you can see in this first Manvantara, Swayambhu Manu has retired, and his two daughters, I think it is Akuti and Devahuti, they have given birth to two personalities who are none other than Supreme Person of Godhead. And they are Kapila and Yajna. So what happens is Swayambhu Manu, when he goes after retirement, he goes to forest for executing the austerities to please the Supreme Lord, along with his wife Shatarupa. At that time, there are Rakshasas who actually try to devour him while he was in ecstasy performing. While he was meditating about the Lord, when he was in ecstasy, at that time he was not he was oblivious to his external conditions. At that time, there was a danger. So Lord continued to protect Swayambhu Manu even at that time. He came as an Yajna, and then he, as a Yajna, he actually saved Swayambhu Manu from the danger by killing all those Rakshasas. So similarly, in the we have heard about how Sukadeva Goswami taken time in explaining about very detailedly about Chakshusha Manvantara, which is 6th Manvantara and 5th Manvantara in the 5th chapter, where he described about Tamas, Raivata in the 5th who is the 5th Manu in the 5th Manvantara. And during that reign, and also Chakshusha Manu. Chakshu Manu is the Manu during the Chakshusha Manvantara. At that time, actually, he heard about Ajita, who came, who was holding the Mandara mountain, and the churning milk ocean pastime was further indicated while explaining about the Ajita. So when Parikshit Maharaj heard about Ajita, he wondered, wow, it looks so very astonishingly wonderful activity. Can you please explain about that? Can you please explain about the churning of the milk ocean, that pastime to me? So Sukadeva Goswami explained all that, and we heard of the pastime of churning of milk ocean, followed by how Devatas were in danger when they lost, how the Devatas were again protected by the Lord when they were lost to the Asuras, and after that how Mohini Murti again came and assisted in actually helping Devatas, and she ensured that the Asuras, who are selfishly motivated people, do not get the nectar from the milk churning ocean activity. So later we heard about the pastime of Mohini Murti when Shiva wanted to see Mohini Murti's form. Actually, Vishnu, being Antaryami, he fulfills the desire. So we will continue as a continuation in the 18th chapter. We heard about, from this Shiva Prabhu. Shiva Prabhu explained about until 10th Manu, so until 24th verse. Even he touched upon the 11th Manu in the 24th verse. So today I'll continue from 25th verse. So the Manu of 11th Manvantara is Dharma Savarni. And the Devas during that time was described in the 25th verse as Vihagamas, Kamagamas, Nirvana Ruchis. And then Manu Putras were already described earlier in the 24th verses. It is Satya Dharma headed by 10 of his, headed by 10 sons totally for Dharma Savarni Manu. And in this verse, we also can see that Sureshwara is Indra. Lord Indra is named as Vaidruta. Vaidruta has taken the position of Lord Indra. And the 7 sages, Aruna, headed by Aruna, the 7 sages were described to be listed there. And in the 26th verse, Amshavatara of the 11th Manvantara is described. Dharma Setu is the Amshavatara, and who is the son of Aryata and Vaidruta. And the Lord's activities will protect the 3 worlds. That is the activity of the Manvantara Avatara. And as you can see, the 27th verse is indicating the 12th Manvantara, and it says, Dasha Dwadashamo Manuhu Rajan Dwadashamo Manuhu. The 12th Manvantara, Manu is called Rudra Savarna. And Manu Putra during that time were Devavan, Upadeva, Devas, Srestha, and others. And 28th verse says that Sureshwara during the 12th Manvantara, who is an Indradev, is Ruta Dhama. And the chief 7 sages are Tapomurti, Tapasvi, Agni Dharka, and others. And 29th verse says Amshavatara for the 12th Manvantara is Swadhama. His name is Swadhama. And Supreme Personality of Godhead, during his Swadhama, is a son of, he appears as a son of Satyasaha and Sundruta. In the womb of Sundruta and the father Satyasaha, so Swadhama, Lord, Supreme Lord, has appeared. And it is described here, Sadhaishyati tan manoho. That means he will rule that manmantra. Satyasaha is a father, and Swadhama, who is the Supreme Lord, in that position, he actually, in fact, rules that manmantra, is what is described. In the 30th verse, it is described Manuputra, and 13th manmantra was described. Deva Savarni is the Manu during the 13th manmantra, and Manuputra, Chitrasena, Vichitra, and others are described to be the sons of the Manu. Manus Trayodasho Bhavyo. So as you can see, it is indicating the future tense, right? And right now we are seeing the mention of who are the future Manus, millions of years from now, are described by Srimad Bhagavatam long back. And it is described that Deva Savarni, who is the 13th Manu, is described to be well advanced in spiritual knowledge, right? And when I was going through this, it just reminded me of Ishopanishad 7th verse, which actually conveys Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmaiva Bhut Vijanataha Tatra Ko Mahaka Shoka Ekattam Anupashyataha. One who always sees, translation says that one who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks and qualitatively one with the Lord becomes a true knower of the things. He is the real true knower of the things. And for such a person, there cannot be any anxiety. Tatrako moha pa shokha ekattam anupashyata. Someone who sees the quality of oneness in all the living entities and the Lord, there is a question of moha, and there is a question of shoka, is what is described in that verse. And it's not that he has that vision, very self-realized soul, has a vision only for his near and dear. Sarvani Bhutani, only for human society. No, Sarvani Bhutani to say. Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmavabhut Vijanataha. So this is the 7th verse of Ishopanishad. So self-realization actually leads to understanding that everything is situated in Supreme Lord. So there is a full harmony when we have such mode. In this world, all we see is harmony. All one sees in material universe is just a manifestation of unity in diversity. So on this platform, one can reach this platform with equal vision if one is assured of happiness, knowledge, and eternity. As you can see in this verse, Manu was described to be Atmavan, well advanced in spiritual knowledge. That's why I was trying to go a little deeper on this. So there are various levels of realization actually, and we have different layers of false ego, and what they are called koshas, and they are actually shells. They are like eggshells. With it, we have some are subtle layers, some are gross layers, and we are all covered by these koshas. And there are coverings of food that we ate over the whole lifetime. That is called Annamaya. And there is a coverings of life air also, and that is called Pranamaya. And there are coverings of mind, subtle coverings, that is called Manomaya or Jnanamaya. And the transcendental knowledge is hidden inside these so many layers underneath. It is covered now. That is called Vijnanamaya. That is a ultimately inner covering. We could not penetrate in the conditional state, could not penetrate the vijnana of natural knowledge that is possessed by the soul, spirit soul. So when we reach to that final layer, it is called vijnanamaya, transcendental knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to give us that vijnanamaya, make us realize to that level. When the first shell is penetrated, the soul attains pure consciousness, enters the state of complete bliss, which is called Anandamaya. That is the prayojana of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Anandamaya, and experiences Sachitananda as a universal. Only in relation to Krishna and his devotional service, one experiences gradual expansion of a bliss. The final objective of anybody's in this living this world is finally they want bliss. So whether it involves flowers, fruits, plants, trees, objects, houses, activities that we do, everything becomes spiritualized at the final stage of Anandamaya, because that person sees the utility of every single thing in this world, and he spiritualizes it by using it in Krishna's service. He doesn't see anything from separate from the Lord. And so how Ishopanishad, the mantra, first mantra says, Vishavasham idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena chakyena bhunjitaha mat burudaha karsasvidhanam. Everything is owned by the Lord, animate or inanimate. One should therefore accept only things necessary for him and which is set aside for him, and accept or do not try to plunder other things which are allotted for others, other living entities. That is what Ishavasham principle says. So following this principle, is a realized person who is in full knowledge will always try to abide by this principle explained in the Ishopanishad first mantra. So how do we get that vision of Atmavan, well advanced in spiritual knowledge? Then that person will achieve a wonderful vision. So how do we achieve that wonderful vision? Is first we must offer the results of all our activities to Lord Krishna. And second is that every action we perform must be done exclusively as a devotion service to Him. So understanding that Lord Krishna is the enjoyer and He is the proprietor of everything. So 31st verse says, Deva during the 13th mantra is Sukarmas Sutramas. Sureshwara Indradev is Devaspati. And Rushaya, chief seven sages are detailed as Nirmoka, Tattva-darsha, and others. And 32nd verse talks about Amshavatara during the 13th manvantara. Yogeshwara is the manvantara avatar during the 13th manvantara, and who is appeared as the son of Devahotra and Bruhat. He performed activities for the welfare of Devaspati. And you can see Lord is described to be a Upaharta, right? Devahotrasya, who is a manvantara avatara, Hari, Devahotrasta Yogeshwara is the Lord Hari during that mantra, and he appeared as the son of Devahotra. Devahotrasya tanaya upaharta divaspatehe Yogeshwaror Hare Ramsho Bruhatyam Sambhavishyati. So he was the benefactor of the he acted as a benefactor of the whole universe, and especially the Manu during that reign, Devasavarni. No. So Lord is the benefactor, Upaharta. Lord Yogeshwara. So we must completely meditate on the fact that Lord Krishna is the only enjoyer and proprietor of every action, because he is the benefactor. So it reminds me of one verse in Bhagavad Gita 24th. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurevacha natumam abhijananti tattvenataschavanti te. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. He is the benefactor. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true nature, transcendental, which is transcendental, they fall down. Whatever you do, that's why he says, Yat karoshi, that's why Yat karoshi, Yat asnasi, Yat juhoshi, dadasi, Yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushvamadarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me, says. And and the 23rd verse talks about 14th Manvantara. Indra Savarni is the Manu during that time. Indra Manu Putras during that reign are described to be Uru Gambhira, Buddha, and others. So 34th verses, Devatas during that time is Pavitras and Chakshusha. And Indra is mentioned as Suchi during that time. Rushaya, the seven sages are Agnir, Vahu, Shuchi, Shuddho, Magadha, and others. 35th verse talks about Amshavatara in the last 14th Manvantara of this Kalpa. And he was mentioned to be Bruhadbanu, who is son of Satrayana and Vitana. And the Lord is mentioned to be performing a wonderful act of spreading spiritual activities. So 36th verse actually is mentioned to be Trikala. O king, I have now described to you the 14 Manus appearing in the past, present, and future. Right? Trikala, Anugatani. He covered up to 14 Manus. And the total duration time ruled by these Manus is 1000 Yuga cycles. That is called a Kalpa for 1 day of Brahma. So he concludes Sukadeva Goswami with this chapter 13. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the Canto, 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and 13th description of future manas. That is it for today, the devotees. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Yosinda Prabhu and Alpha Mataji, for giving the opportunity to take association of Srimad Bhagavatam and devotees. Hare Krishna. Sundaracala Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a beautiful class. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hare Krishna.